small till it ain't, till it ain't, till it ain't, till it ain't. I'm building up a wall till it breaks. She hated when I call and it's late. I don't wanna keep you waiting. I hope I never keep you waiting. She think I know it all, but I don't. Hi, welcome to the Mixtape with Scott. I'm the host, Scott Cunningham. I'm a professor of economics at Baylor University in Waco, Texas. And this is a podcast called, did I say this? The Mixtape with Scott? This is well, that's what it is if I have to say it twice. This is the Mixtape with Scott, where I have usually economists on here almost always. And I just learn more about their personal story and their personal journey. And today's guest, I've actually had her on the show before, but it wasn't really a show when I had her. Sophie Sun at University of College London. When I interviewed Sophie originally, it was a long, long time ago. She was probably like my fourth interviewee. And this was when it really wasn't a podcast. It was more of me asking her about her paper a little bit and then putting it on my Substack as I was trying to explain her paper in an early explainer. And so I wanted to have her on again to kind of hear her more complete story. So she was gracious enough to be on the show. Uh, everybody, a lot of people know Sophie for a paper that she did with Sarah Abraham on difference in differences and event study with treatment effect heterogeneity. And so I wanted to talk to her about it again and also just learn more about her life. And it was such a wonderful thing. And I told her, well, I've been reading a lot of this one book called The Courage to Be Disliked. And one of the things that the guys say in the book, it's based on Alfred Adler's psychological stuff, and says you're not supposed to have vertical relationships. You're supposed to have horizontal relationships. You're not supposed to have any vertical. Doesn't matter if you agree with me or not. But so like a vertical relationship is where you both ridicule people and praise them. And horizontal relationships, you see people as your, there's mutual respect. You see people as your peers. And you can even do that with students with appropriate boundaries. But one of the things that you notice when it's a horizontal relationship is you express gratitude. You say thank you more as opposed to praise. And I've always been historically a praiser. And, but I told Sophie that I am so grateful for all the papers she writes because they're so aesthetically, the theory in them is so aesthetically pleasant. And I am so sensitive to beauty. And I really find her papers so beautiful. And I love teaching her different diff papers. So turning it over to her and this guy and let them talk. I hope you like it and I hope you find it helpful. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I hope you enjoy this talk. Well, it is. I say this every time how excited I am about the guest, but I mean it every time. And this person, I'm so excited to get to talk to her because I don't get to talk to her ever. For the sake of the listener, can you tell us your name and your title and who pays your paycheck?
Hi everyone. Hi Scott. I'm Liyang, so you can call me Sophie. I'm currently an assistant professor at UCL, and I guess I'm most known to people for my work in different div.
Nah, that's awesome. All right. Well, so before we get started, I was going to do an icebreaker just to kind of get us started. So, what's a vacation that you've gone on? Doesn't have to be a recent one. It doesn't have to be an old one. It doesn't have to be your favorite or your worst one, but you just notice that every now and then it still pops in your mind, even to this day.
Oh, good question. I think I would say it was probably this trip to Alaska that I had with my host family in wow, gosh, it's 2000. 2008. Yeah, I was actually very luckily chosen to be a high school exchange student from China, and I was placed in this Chicago public high school and was taken care of by a local host family.
Oh,
And I think must be my second day in the US. They want to take me to their family vacation to Alaska. So yeah, it was amazing time to get to know my host family, get to know the American cruise culture a little bit, and just see the
oh,
landscape in Alaska. That's yeah, very memorable.
you went on a ship. You went on a cruise.
Yes, yes, it was
Oh, I've never
from
done
Seattle
that.
and then Juneau. Yes.
Oh, wow. Wow. That's neat. Oh, I can't wait to learn more about that family. So you grew up in China. Can you tell me a little bit about where in China you grew up?
Oh yes, I'm from Changzhou. It's a I guess second tier city in China standard in Jiangsu province. It's about right now it's about an hour away on the bullet train from Shanghai to just give you a sense. It's
Oh,
on the East Coast. Um, and I spent all my childhood in the same place. My parents are from that region as well. So yeah, this trip to this exchange year, this whole year is my first time to be far away from home for so long.
oh, wow.
Um,
What does that mean, second tier city? I've not heard that word before.
maybe this is how China would, because there are so many super-sized city, and my city, even with its population, is still considered not like a big city.
Really? How big is it? Still gigantic though?
I guess maybe 10 years ago, I think last time I checked was maybe 3 million. Yeah, it should, yeah,
Pretty
it like
urban?
my high school, just to give you a sense, we had a class of 500 students, and there are maybe like dozens of schools this size in my home city.
Oh, wow. Wow. What did your parents do for a living?
So my mom is a doctor, so she kind of also did continuing education, eventually became a plastic surgeon.
Hmm.
So yeah, she studied a lot when I was growing up. My dad, it's yeah, he was one of those first generation to go to college after the Cultural Revolution. Um, and he was trained as a marine engineer, but he was firstly assigned a job under central planning that he didn't really he it wasn't a good fit, so he actually had to change jobs quite a bit and also worked in other cities than my hometown for
Wow.
a lot of my childhood. But eventually, he managed to get back a job in a shipyard, so that's much closer to his original training.
Oh, really? Really? He went to college though.
Yes, yes, he was one
How
of
old
those
was
first
he?
generations.
You
When
mean
he
as a
went to
young person?
college,
He went to college as a young person?
so he was, yeah, I think went to college when he was 18. So it
Ah,
just
okay,
happened to
got it.
be the era when the Cultural Revolution ended.
I see.
Um,
I see. What did he study?
Marine engineering.
Oh, so he was an engineer.
Yes,
Oh, okay.
yes.
Did you
And
have
his last job was also engineer, so it all kind of closed the chapter well.
did you
Um,
have any siblings? Brothers or
no,
sisters?
I'm the only child.
You're the only child.
Um,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. Well, what kind of games did you like to play as a kid?
Yeah, I know you would ask this question, and I thought a lot about it, but unfortunately, it's so competitive in China. I think I just studied most of my time, and my mom wanted me to not feel so lonely as the only child, so she um, signed me up for violin lessons. So I will
Oh,
probably play some violin. But yeah,
yeah.
mostly it would just be by myself and study.
Did you become good at the violin?
Uh, yeah, I think I enjoyed playing. And eventually I switched to cello.
Oh,
Not that I think I also preferred cello toward the end, but back then was a little bit more, again, speaking of the competition, to maybe have a little bit of bonus when I applied to college, and there's less competition for cellists than violinists. So I switched to cello. Um, yeah, I think it wasn't until during my exchange year I get to play in the local student orchestra that I understood why Americans are so into playing instruments. It's like a very social experience. But in China, it was
Oh.
very much an individual event.
Mm, mm. Would you by nature say, I hear you saying it was very competitive, but would you say that that came naturally to you to be competitive, or was it something that maybe didn't come naturally to you? You're just, you were able to pick it up.
I think I picked it up. I still don't think I'm a competitive person by nature, but in that environment, you kind of have to work very hard, stay focused on school.
Mm,
Because then everyone goes through the college entrance exam, and that's the only way to go to college in
yeah.
China. Maybe with a bit of bonus like instruments, sports, but it wouldn't help as much as it would in the US, I think.
So what year is it when you go do this exchange program? How old are you?
I was turning 16
Oh, so like
in
the
in
10th
my
grade?
junior year in high school.
Oh,
Yes,
you go your junior year.
right.
Was that scary?
I didn't know what to expect. I only had one family friend who signed their daughter up for the same program, and she had a good experience. She went to Ohio, so I thought it would be
Mhm.
similar. It's Chicago, not that far from Ohio. So yeah, I didn't expect to be scary, more that it would just be very different. But I've heard everyone's super friendly in Midwest, and yes, that's true. And yeah, it wasn't scary after all. And
Mm,
I wasn't thinking I would be scary either. My host family took really good care of me.
mm,
And I had my host siblings who went to the same local public school. And yeah, they kind of explained to me how to how to navigate the US high school curriculum, which is very different from the Chinese high school curriculum.
mm.
And yeah, they were my first friends and helped me to meet other friends.
Yeah, yeah. Did it feel like a family? You call them your host family. Did it feel like you had a second family?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we're
Yeah.
still in touch.
Oh,
Yeah, definitely. I guess I get to experience a little bit of sibling experience, even though I'm the only child in my native family.
yeah, yeah. So you do this. When do you learn that you're going to do the exchange program? Did you learn it your whole life? You knew that it was going to happen?
No, it was through this family friend who, yeah, her daughter went to Ohio, and we're close. And she told me about it, and I think I was also very stressed at that point in school. I
Mm,
was in the US equivalent sophomore year. So start to think about because back then you have to decide whether you go into liberal arts or go into science in sophomore year.
mm,
I was very stressed. And I heard about this opportunity and thought, oh wow, I should try it to just get a broader perspective about what I want to do.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So did you think were you biased towards because you sort of have this artistic side playing the cello and
Hmm.
but you also clearly are, uh very good at math. Did you know that
Hmm.
did you kind of already have a plan to sort of specialize in something more science related? Or do you specialize in science related stuff in high school?
So if I went on, I would have stayed in science track.
Oh, this was
In
in
fact,
China.
yeah, I
Oh, okay.
had to pick one.
Got it. Got it.
Um, yeah. I think. Um, No, my artistic side is more of yeah, for self-improvement. I think yeah, I think by nature I'm better in science too. So
Mm.
looking back, it wasn't a difficult decision, but I just felt very stressed that I had to make a decision so early on.
What does that mean, self-improvement? What did you mean by that?
Oh, just to appreciate music more. I guess maybe this is how maybe Chinese education would differ from US education in my perspective, that I feel when Chinese parents sign kids up for something, it's usually to yeah improve their appreciation for literature, music,
Oh,
etc. And yeah, to keep us busy in our
yeah,
free
yeah.
time. But in the US, yeah, I really felt it was more like a lot of it was social. I get to meet friends in the orchestra and talk about what music we like.
Mm, mm. Well, so what did you want to be when you grew up? When you were sort of after you got to Chicago, what was your were you thinking about the future that you wanted to be like a lawyer or a doctor or were you what was it like?
I think at that point, I wanted to become a doctor because of my mom, who
Yeah.
is yeah worked really hard and became a plastic surgeon. And also, my whole sister at the time was looking to medical school, and
Mm,
I very much looked up to her.
mm,
Um, uh, and I think the issue became that after I decided to go to the US for college, it became very complicated for international students to go to medical school in the
oh,
US or go back to China, because then you have to repeat the whole education. So yeah, this path kind of became too complicated, and I started thinking about other plans.
so why were you thinking about Wellesley? What drew you to go to, because you go to college in Wellesley. I guess that was like maybe 2010 or something like that, 2010 or
Right.
well, why Wellesley? I mean, it's a great school, but
So
I'm just curious what drew you there?
yes, yeah, I'm also I think I was just super lucky. My host family, their children uh are all interested in liberal arts college. So I knew about these smaller colleges early on, and I took ACT during my exchange year. So when I went back to China to continue the high school, it became an option to me without a lot of planning. I already had the test score. I had teachers in the US high school willing to write me a recommendation letter. Um, so yeah, my host family told me about all these liberal arts college, and it was actually my mom who picked Wellesley College out of all because of the first lady of Republic of China in the 30s. She's a Wellesley alum. She's probably more known than Hillary Clinton or Madeleine Albright in China
Oh,
among the famous Wellesley alums. So
oh,
yeah, so my mom picked the one that she knew the most,
yeah.
and I applied.
Oh, wow, wow. So you get there. What's it like when you get there?
I was really happy because I also got a scholarship. Without a scholarship, would have been very stressful for me to financially to go to Wellesley College. So yeah, I was really happy to arrive there, and everything was so nice. The campus
Mhm.
was beautiful, and for the first 2 years, we had the option to choose from, I guess, the liberal arts curriculum. Um, and as I found out how difficult it was to become a doctor in the US, I decided to like look elsewhere. So took math, took Latin, took music theory, took
Mhm.
biology. Yeah, just a lot of the classes that I just felt naturally interested in, since
Was
there wasn't a hurry to choose a major.
I see. I see. Were you surprised? I mean, would your teachers in high school have been surprised that you major in mathematics? Were you always very strong in mathematics?
Uh, I don't think they will be surprised. Yeah, I was good in math. I was good in physics.
Mm,
Um, but I yeah, but I still took a while to take my math classes and economics classes
yeah.
advanced. I think it was until my second term in sophomore year.
Oh, how do you find economics? How do you discover it? Did you know about it in
Yeah,
high school?
so I didn't know about it because it wasn't part of the Chinese curriculum, and I also didn't take it during my exchange year. But economics is a top major at Wellesley, and the reviews for the professors are just amazing. David Lindauer, who I think now retired, had been teaching Econ 101, the intro to micro, for 30 plus years, and
Yeah.
the reviews are all positive.
Ah.
So I thought I had to take it.
Oh,
um, yeah, and the economics department does a lot of outreach as well. It has like an annual public lecture. Actually, Diane, who you
yeah.
interviewed, gave the lecture when I was there,
Oh.
and Amy Finkelstein gave one.
Oh,
I think
she's
Claudia Golden
also.
also gave one.
Oh, did they all went to Wellesley?
No, no, no. They just gave the public lecture to talk about their research
Yeah. Okay.
to the college.
Right. Diane went
Um,
there, right? Didn't she go there?
Diane is alum. Yes, yes.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. So what did it feel like seeing all these women, you know, presenting economics research? What did you feel? What did you think when you saw that?
I thought it was really cool that they are so they have thought so much about these policies. For Diane, I think she presented her work on food stamp, and Amy presented her work on the Oregon health insurance experiment, how Medicaid eligibility increased mental health.
Mm,
Yeah, so I just thought it was super cool for them to oversee super complicated research projects and be so motivated to study social policies and finally very enthusiastic to present to college students who probably weren't really following all the complicated methods at that point. But yeah, they're
yeah.
super excited to talk to us. I think I
I,
even got Amy to sign her paper for me.
oh, really?
Yeah, I was just very impressed.
Oh, you came to the talk having already read their papers.
I don't think I understood much, but yeah, I printed the paper, brought the paper to the talk, and thought, yeah, Amy was really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh, because you were thinking about med school. I guess graduate school kind of was in your mind a little bit. Is that right?
Yeah, yeah, it was in my mind, but I was also thinking about working right after college. But my economics professors, um, they all very much encouraged me to consider grad school. I think Wellesley had a very good placements
Yeah.
for graduate programs. So they, the professors had an eye on what could be a potential path for their students.
They saw the potential. They were like, you could go to MIT. They were like, you're really smart, Sophie.
Oh no, no, I don't think they said that. It's just that we have this established path for students to do independent research projects early
Ah,
on, and then finally senior thesis. So
mm,
along the way, it's a there are multiple opportunities for professors to encourage us to think about grad school. That oh, you will learn even more advanced methods than I think I was doing kind of a different div in college
really?
for my independent study.
Mm.
Yeah.
Who'd you do your independent study with?
So I wrote a third year independent study paper with Robin McKnight, who uh, I think is a long-term co-author of Amy Finkelstein. She's a health economist. So
Ah,
I was kind of interested in, kind of inspired by Amy's talk, whether having Medicare once people turn 65 would increase medical spending
oh,
and health. So I
Yeah.
was doing like a comparison for people who just turned 65 and who haven't, and also comparing to to people who have insurance all the way.
Oh, wait, you were doing like a regression discontinuity design? You said diff, but
I think back then I wasn't really sure what I was doing. So
yeah.
I was a junior in college and I learned about diff, and I thought, oh, I'll compare people who always had insurance and people who became insured because of Medicare.
Mm.
I probably called it diff, but yeah, looking back, after I learned regression discontinuity in grad school, I yeah could have done
So
RD.
you were interested in these big programs, is that right? Medicare, Medicaid, SNAP, like, is that right? You were interested in like public finance in college? Is that true?
Yes, that's right. Yeah, I think
Oh.
partly it was a continuation of my interest in health. A lot of these social
Mm.
programs
Oh,
address health inequality. Right. Yeah, I did.
oh, right. The med school, because of med school, you had health in your mind.
Yeah, right.
Oh, got it.
Yeah,
Okay.
but I also worked with Dan Sickle in college. He kind of introduced me to this concept of innovation economics.
Yeah.
Um, so this two sides of my college experience brought me to Heidi Williams,
Oh,
uh, whom I worked for after college as a research assistant because she is like the perfect combination of health economics and how innovation
mm.
um, affects health economics as well.
That's before grad school. You're working with her
Right.
like
Yeah.
pre-doc. You do a
Yes.
pre-doc.
Yes. Now I guess it's called pre-doc. Back then we called it research assistant.
Oh,
Yes.
so you were probably like an early wave of that pre-doc stuff.
Yeah, probably.
Oh,
But
okay.
I guess for the Wellesley, this type of trajectory was still quite common. I think people
Oh,
would work for the Fed or maybe work for some think tank or government. I think Diane, I think she mentioned she worked at the CA before grad
right,
school.
right.
Um,
So you did that, and had you taken who did you take econometrics from at Wellesley? Did it leave an impression when you took it?
so I took econometrics with Robin in the economics department, but I also took this causal inference class in the I guess now would be called the math department at Wellesley.
Oh,
Yeah, so both left quite a mark on me. I think for
oh,
for Robin, she actually taught a lot of these very clever RCT. So for example, using fake resumes to estimate employer discrimination.
oh,
Um, and the causal inference was also, I guess, less on the application, but just to expose very early on to these ideas of potential outcomes.
yeah. You were learning that
Um,
in college. You remember
yeah,
hearing that's from Robin. She's writing down Y zeros and Y ones on the board.
no, so back then it was Wellesley had just hired a statistician from Cassandra, who was a student of Don Rubin from Harvard. So yeah, it was her first year at Wellesley, my last year at Wellesley. So I was very lucky to take her course in causal inference.
Wait, she's the one in the math department?
Yeah, I
Oh,
think now it's under math. I think for her first year, Wellesley was trying to figure out how to uh, transition because we didn't have a stats department nor
uh,
like engineering department. So
yeah.
back then was called the Quantitative Analysis Institute.
Oh,
So I was also her intern because she also provides statistical consulting to just the broader community.
mm,
So I was taking notes when she talks to biologists, talking to political scientists about their quantitative research projects.
So she's writing down Y zeros and Y ones in
Yes,
class.
yes, yes. That was her causal
Oh,
inference class. Yes.
who told you to take that
Um,
class? Did you just know to take that class? Had you heard that word before, causal inference?
no, no, no. But I think the economics professors are all very much yeah, encouraging the students to take this course. I think it was cross-registered with the economics department
Oh.
for yeah for us to know about it.
Did you like it? Did you like all that potential outcome stuff when you first heard
Yeah,
it?
I thought it was a very a completely different way to think about the world, that there is this counterfactual that you will not ever experience. But if you are careful with the experiment design, maybe you can recover it on average.
Mm.
Yeah, so that was all very, very interesting.
You're learning it mainly the experimental design, though. Are you learning the observational stuff?
Uh, that year, no, I think that year was mostly conceptual, the conceptual framework and how to, yeah, how to design experiment, um, how to run permutation tests. Um,
Mm.
I don't think, I think, yeah, I learned instrumental variable, different diff, etc. from Robin in the
Nice.
econometrics class in the
Got it.
economics department.
Got it. Got it. Got it. So then you go to MIT. How long are you with Heidi Williams as her RA?
1 year.
What was that like? What
It
she
was
have you
great,
doing?
yeah.
What was she having you doing?
So she was interested in um, how did I guess broadly she was interested in how patents would patent protections would shape the innovations.
Right.
So as the RA, a lot of the work I did was to start this bigger project to collect the patent data, which thankfully are all public
Mm.
for the drugs, because the FDA keeps track of all the patent information for all the drugs. And
Yeah.
but it was just a bit difficult to scrape the scrape the website, and I
You
think
did that? You wrote the code to do all the scraping?
I think no, I must be one of the several RAs. We all
Mm.
contributed, and I think now Heidi made the whole patent drug patent data set available. So yeah, I think it's now benefiting the greater public.
Your first publication, I'm jumping ahead. I don't want to, I'm going to come back though, but your first publication is Stata Journal. And I remember when your diff and diff paper came out, you also immediately had that, Stata package. When did you pick up being
Yeah.
such a good programmer?
I guess it's the RA experience for
Really?
Heidi. Yeah, yeah. All the RAs we had to code, and I guess Theta is the main language, but we also had to do some Python web scraping.
Mm,
Um, and I think Heidi also very much encouraged to us to be clean with our code. She
yeah.
very much had the idea of replication in mind.
Mm,
So yeah, I think it was throughout my RA experience I became good with data programming.
yeah.
Um,
At the end of that experience or in the middle of that experience, when do you think to yourself, well, actually, I think I want to become an economist? When does that happen?
uh,
Or is that at
I think
Wellesley?
I think probably the I think yeah, it's the RA experience that was probably the most important factor. I think I was I was still thinking a bit about maybe working or go to maybe even law school. But I really liked my RA experience. I liked working with Heidi, and I
Mm.
had so she arranged for her RAs to sit in the NBR, the physical building,
Oh.
together with RAs on other research projects with other professors. So it was a very collegial environment, and we had lunch together every day to
Mm.
talk about coding tips or like interesting papers we read.
Mm.
So yeah, I just wanted to keep this experience a bit longer, and grad school would be the most natural option.
Are you picking up econometrics during this period of time, or is it still more applied work, public and stuff?
I think mostly applied work,
Yeah.
but I think Heidi, maybe she had a vision for me to go
Really?
into econometrics, but yeah, she would, whenever we're running some complicated regression, she'll be like, "Oh, Sophie, you can take some time to look into this method." So yeah, she was actually, yeah, allowing me to take some time off work to study the sum,
Did it come
if it's
natural to you?
interesting.
Did it come natural? Did econometrics that early on sort of feel natural to you, or was it really hard and foreign?
I do find it back then, yeah, I did find it yeah, complicated because once you, I guess in college, especially for my experience at Wells, the application is the most important. We didn't really like differentiate what happened if your outcome is continuous or binary or discrete. But all of these things will become important for research level
Yeah.
econometrics. So yeah, I think it did feel foreign, but I just felt yeah, Heidi had this vision for me. And when I started at MIT, I also had really great professors who later became my advisors. So
Yeah.
I just want to follow them and being able to learn more from them.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, so can you tell me a little bit about how this paper with Sarah Abraham was born? You've told me before, but I like hearing the story.
Sure. Um, right, yeah. So I I had at MIT for my PhD, I had to pick two main fields, and I picked public finance and econometrics.
Mm.
Um, and we have to write a third year paper um, after we finish all the field exams. So I was trying to come up with an idea, and it was very difficult in the beginning. But my advisor Isaiah told me that Sarah at the time, who was 1 year above me and was a student of Amy, was asking him about how to handle these event studies when you have multiple cohort that receive the treatment at different times. So Isaiah thought that I should talk to Sarah because we both took Amy's public finance class and we knew what these event studies are like, what data sets are being used, and maybe I can contribute by thinking through the econometrics. Yeah, so
Wait,
we
who
started
tells you
talking.
that? Isaiah Andrews gives you the
Yes,
idea?
yeah,
Oh,
Isaiah paired me with Sarah,
oh. Did y'all know each
who,
other really well? You and
oh
Sarah?
yeah, we do know each other, but we didn't, I didn't know she was thinking about event studies from a research perspective. So yeah, I think Isaiah connected us, and we started discussing more.
Wait, so it's funny, like, a lot of applied people have never found, before all this wave of research, they didn't find event studies to be complicated. They were just like, so what was it that you found so perplexing at the beginning? With it, was it like,
Yeah, because so when Amy teaches event study, like she kind of hinted that firstly, there's no econometrics paper that she thinks is the like the final word on how to run event study in terms of which free period you normalize, leads and lags to include. In particular, I remember very clearly she was saying how sometimes you want to not include all the leads and lags because they are probably estimated on very few observations
yeah,
if units begin treatment at different times. So she kind of had this intuition why these max coefficients are so noisy.
Yeah.
Um, so I think, yeah, Amy kind of left this hint through her teaching that this is an open econometrics question.
Mm, mm,
um, so yeah, maybe broadly speaking wasn't complicated to implement event study, but I think Amy was very careful in explaining how she viewed these event study analysis and what
right.
would be the things to pay attention to.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Well, so tell me about the workflow that you and Sarah had. Well, tell me about how you got up every day and worked on it, and what was it like collaborating? What was that like? What'd y'all do?
right, yeah. So I think Sarah had the initial guess that maybe heterogeneity would mess up event study somehow, but neither
Mm,
of us had a clear idea what would happen. So she actually went ahead and designed simulations and kind of
oh,
convinced us that it probably would mess up things, that the point estimate can flip signs depending on how you specify the leads and lags. Um, but it was all very, I think, high level.
yeah.
Um, yeah, I think again, this was my probably the first econometrics project. So yeah, I didn't know what would be the right approach. So it's just a lot of it was just to iteratively with Sarah try to design simulations to match with the theory I was trying to write down. Um, and eventually, yeah, I think maybe after uh, probably like 4 or 5 months, finally, without her simulation, evidence matched with my theory. And
Oh,
then we started writing things down.
how'd you get
Um,
to how'd you get your decomposition? You told me once you did the omitted variable bias formula.
yes, that's right.
Mm,
Yeah, so I think that part, I was really getting a lot of ideas from Peter Hall, who back then was working on decomposition for the mover design. So it's much, much more complicated.
mm.
And he was doing these decomposition very carefully. So yeah, I
What,
think
you
that was
go to
how
some
I
brown
got this
bag?
idea.
You grad students would go to some brown bag and share what you were working on or something? Or he just would send it?
Right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, we will have like I guess we call it launch talk as a brown bag.
Oh, okay. So what? You're watching Peter do decompositions of regressions,
Yeah.
panel regression.
Um, yeah,
What?
in the mover design.
Yeah. And so it's giving you these ideas. Why is what's sparking ideas to you that you didn't have? How you could
Uh
these tools?
yeah, because I think the idea for for us is to be able to express the estimate of these event studies as some combination of the heterogeneous effects. We know it has to be a combination, we just don't know exactly how. And
Mm,
I think Peter's paper was, yeah, exactly trying to do something similar for movers design.
mm.
So that was how I realized, oh yeah, I need to do the partially out.
Oh, did you
um,
enjoy the paper? Did you enjoy making it? All those discoveries?
yeah, it was, yeah, I think it was very, it was, I think at that point, definitely felt very, very challenging being the first project. Um, but I think I was very happy to talk to Sarah, who is very organized and always very eager to talk to applied. I mean, she herself is an applied person. So
Mhm.
through her, I get to talk to people in applied, and they're all very interested. So I think that kept me going.
Mm. Does something click
Yeah.
at some point? Something clicks. I really associate one of the things that really emphasize when I teach is the decomposition. And I have like this really nice slide where there's like three rows being added together and there's all the, and I can be like, these weights are summing to zero and these weights are summing to one and these weights are summing to -1. And it's just beautiful. It's so pretty and so interesting. Was it like,
Mhm.
was that one of the core moments where or what's like the surprising part of the paper back then? What surprised you, I guess?
So I think initially it was just a static specification where you only include the treatment indicator.
Yeah.
So that one was um, I think we understood it, but then I showed what I did to my advisors, Anna Mikoshiva and Isaiah Andrews. And also, of course, Sarah had always been telling me that it's an advanced study that people do. And Isaiah and Anna said, well, yeah, you should really push on the advanced study and think about what's the implication for all these pre-trained tests.
Yeah.
So I think, yeah, I think that was probably the point I really tried to push for the final version where the main decomposition result is for the dynamic specification.
Oh, so it might not have happened like that. It might have been the static, it might have been like a bacon decomposition that could have happened. That,
Right. I think in the first iteration, yeah, because I think that one uh is also done in practice. Um, so it's natural to start that way and kind of mapped to the omitted variable bias formula.
yeah.
Um, well, but yes, my co-author and my advisors all pushed me to look more into the dynamic specification because
Mhm.
that's where uh, most papers would do after they run the static specification.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
When you came up with your interaction weighted estimator, uh, how long did that take to work out? And how did you even come up with that? Was it just obvious or what was the deal?
yeah, so again, this is through the brown bag. Uh, Someone brought up to me this paper called Broken Fixed Effects.
Oh yeah, right.
Yes, so what they did to fix the broken fixed effect is to do it this yeah, basically to uh use the weights that researchers had in mind to combine the estimate, not to rely on the OS to combine the estimate. So yeah, that's where the idea came from.
Okay, okay, okay. And so this whole like, using already treated as controls and all this stuff, is that surprising? Was that you could see that happening? That the differential timing is playing this weird role?
So I think yeah, I thought about this differently from how the Bacon composition would have done. I think yeah, for me, I was just more interested in the decomposition result itself, how
Yeah.
different cohort contributes to the final OS estimates. Yeah,
Yeah.
I wasn't really thinking about the bat control, which I agree is a very good name.
Yeah,
But
right,
yeah, I
right.
think back then was just to mechanically understand how OS aggregates estimates and how, more importantly, what's the implication for the pre-trained test because
Mm.
um, if the pre-trained estimate had um, any of the post-treatment effect estimates involved, then that kind of invalidates the interpretation for the pre-trained test. So
Oh,
that
okay.
was my um, yeah, my approach, which may be a little bit more mechanical than the
Mm.
Bacon decomposition.
So is
Um,
this your job market paper?
no, my job market paper was about policy learning.
Oh,
I think I was already wrapping the event study paper up in my sixth, yeah. By the time I go on the market, it was already wrapped up.
oh,
Um,
oh. When did you get the feeling that this paper was going to be influential? And was it, when did you notice it happening?
um, yeah, I don't know. I thought I was just yeah working with Sarah to talk to people who run event studies. I think it was actually Isaiah who told me that he felt it was going to change empirical practice.
Yeah.
And also Pedro Santana reached out.
Oh,
Um, that I realized that yeah, there is a broader community who is interested. Um,
but did you like, have you been, I mean, because it's like a million citations. I don't know if you saw, I made this like figure of the impact factor of Journal of Econometrics. And after 2020, it's like 1.91. It's like its own, I didn't do a diff and diff, but it was like 1.9, 1.9. And then 21, it's like 2, and then it's like 4, and then it's like 10. And so the impact factor at Journal of Econometrics just blows up after y'all's paper. What did you, was that surprising to you that like this really has been so impactful?
uh, yeah, I think it was very surprising, and I'm very grateful for the recognition, and it definitely adds a bit of pressure on what next I would work on.
Really?
But yeah, yeah, I'm really grateful for the recognition. And I think it kind of showed me that it really pays off to understand what applied researchers
Oh,
are doing. Yeah, like the follow-up work I had done since the definitive paper, I always try to with my co-authors understand what would help applied researchers the
yeah,
most. Um, Yeah, like for example, the follow after definitive, I started working on synthetic control
yeah,
with Avi Feller and Eli Manko. And what we realized is that in practice, people want to look at the impact for multiple outcomes at the same time,
yeah,
but there's no theoretical guidance yet on how you want to estimate synthetic control weights for multiple outcomes. So yeah, that was how we wrote the paper.
right, right, right.
um,
Yeah,
yeah, because I think even in your paper,
yeah,
um, this is a common issue that you have multiple outcomes you want to analyze with yeah rape arrest and prostitution arrest for you. I think
yeah, yeah.
in the paper.
You mean because you're looking at, like, we were looking at health outcomes and we were looking at crime outcomes. And so when you run it, you're getting very different weights that are reproducing.
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
and so that's a problem. That was like, to people, that was like a problem.
It
It,
looks like a
it
problem.
should be the same weights. Is that right? That's what people used to tell us.
But if yeah, I think that's where I thought this whole metric control is so magical in the sense that the weights in the end is just trying to recover this latent outcome that drives all these outcomes, the health, the crime. So if you believe in this common latent outcome framework,
Mm.
um, then it only matters if you can recover the latent outcome. It doesn't matter how the weights are.
Yeah.
So it's fine to have different weights associated with different outcomes as long as they are driven by the same latent outcome,
Mm.
because there are multiple ways to recover the latent outcome. But statistically, you can actually estimate the same set of ways to improve the efficiency.
How would you
So
do that? How do you get the same weights on different outcomes? Is that what you said?
ah
Same weights?
yeah, so you could estimate the weights by concatenating the outcomes together into a longer pre-treatment series.
Uh-huh.
Um, or you can aggregate multiple outcomes into a single index. So in our
Oh,
paper, for a starting point, we just say a normalized average. Then you estimate the weights on the averaged outcome.
mm.
So this way you will be guaranteed the weights are the same.
Oh, okay. Okay. Have you enjoyed these projects? Because you have I think you have two of them, right? And one of them, is it forthcoming at Review of Economics and Statistics? Did I see?
Yes, yes, yes.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
just went through, thankfully.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh, you've has it surprised you now that you sort of have this career, how how has it surprised you? I guess I don't know if this is true. Tell me if this is wrong, but you seem to be first an econometrician. Like public is sort of your second job. Is that right? Like you're primarily, do you think of yourself as I am an econometrician, or do you even think in those terms like identity, like your identity is something? I might, maybe I'm the only person who thinks that way about
No,
self. I
no,
don't know.
yeah, I think, yeah, I am an econometrician. Um, yeah, I don't know if this is an identity. It's more like my job.
Oh,
That's
it's
how
your
I think
job.
about it.
Yeah.
But I think um, a perk of being a econometrician is, yeah, we get to talk to applied researchers across applied fields.
Yeah.
So I think that's something very nice.
You're also kind of a doctor, I bet. I bet people call you and they're like, I'm sick. I need you to heal me with all their problems. Is that
No.
right? They're like, they write you
No.
and they're like, Fix me." Is that right?
No, no, I don't think that anyone. Uh,
You're
yeah,
like,
I
you
do
like
get
went to
emails
med
about
school.
questions.
You like went to econometrics med school. You did become, is that right? People do expect you to like tell them everything that's wrong with their like thing and fix it.
No, no, I don't think I can do what real doctors does to patients. No, no, I just provide yeah, I do provide feedback in terms of what the econometric literature is at for the specific problem
Yeah.
my colleagues or students are asking. Um, yeah, no, yeah, I think I definitely cannot fix all the research questions,
Yeah.
but I do try to read broadly and think broadly about what will be useful for
Well,
applied researchers.
what's your favorite thing about your job now? That you're at UCL. So tell me, what do you love about the job?
Yeah, I think what I like a lot is that at UCL, we have a very well-established econometrics group and also a very broad applied group. So I get to talk to both sides um, often, and that allows me to really broaden my econometric skills from by learning from my colleagues, but at the same time to understand the applied questions people are working on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I
Because
really like.
it's got both. So you enjoy all the cross collaboration to kind of be hearing what people are working on. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, that's right.
Mm, mm. Well, how do you like living in, is it London? That's right.
Yes,
UCL, London. How do you like it?
right. University College London.
You were in Spain, you were in Madrid, and you were at Berkeley too, right? For a little bit. You did a postdoc there. Am I remembering correctly?
Yes, yes, that's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. Well, how do you like London?
It's very, yeah, it's very diverse, and I think I really like all the cities I've lived in, and they're all very different. It's hard to tell
Yeah.
um, which would be my favorite.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's your
Yeah,
typical
very lucky
like?
to experience all these cities thanks to my job.
Yeah, I bet. I had people ask me once, they were like, I want you to ask the guest what it's like, what a typical day is like getting work done. So like,
Mhm.
you go to bed and you wake up and I'm just curious, like, because you're so, like you're not on social media. You seem like you just have, you're very, you're, uh, you're a hard worker is the sense I get. You seem like you work hard and you're very careful and humble. And I'm just curious, what's your day like? What's your production function like?
Uh, I wish I understand this myself too, that I can be more productive. No, I think yeah, most of my day is still reading papers,
Mhm.
trying to work on projects by meeting with co-authors, writing down derivations and show them to my co-authors, and make sure I get things right.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, I think being at UCL means there are also a lot of seminars that I can go to and a lot of speakers I can talk with. So that also makes up for quite some time. And finally, I now really appreciate that um, there are PhD students who are interested in econometrics. So talking to them also broadens my perspective,
Mhm.
to know what they want to work on,
Yeah.
and how I can share my experience with them
Yeah.
to push them in the in the right direction.
Right, right. You had said earlier that China was very competitive, and you people say economics is very competitive, and I'm curious, what do you see economics being like for you? Does it seem competitive given how you've been in environments like that kind of since you were little, or does it seem different?
I think it's no, yeah, definitely very different. I think again, my education in China, this is only up through high school. So the way evaluation happens had to be very, um, I guess, one dimensional. Is just the test score.
Yeah.
Um, Now, professionally, I think the community had a lot of different ways to evaluate you. Um, and yeah, regarding evaluation, I do think it's a bit less um, competitive in the sense that you can contribute to the profession in different ways.
Oh, okay,
um,
okay. Oh, wait. So in China, when you say it was competitive, it sort of felt like there was not a way to contribute.
oh no, I just meant for my high school education because
Oh,
in
okay.
school the only way to to do well is to score high in the exam.
Oh,
Um, yeah, I think professionally this is a now it feels much more different than in school that I can contribute by writing more papers, developing theory, but also to talk to applied researchers. Um, yeah, again, I have never worked really in China. I don't know what it would be like,
yeah,
but it's just to compare what it would be like to work as an economist compared to yeah, studying in high school.
yeah. Well, I hope it's okay to say this. I am very appreciative of all the work that you do and how you do it. I find that paper that you wrote with Sarah I love teaching it.
Thank
I
you.
have it on the slide. I love how it feels every time I go through the slides and I go through the decomposition, and I really appreciate how lovely it is and how it feels
Thank you.
so pleasant, to go through it. Um, and I actually think I'm probably a lot more like a lot of applied people that maybe they hadn't always seen how beautiful uh these things could be. And I do think that you've made really beautiful works, and I really appreciate because that's really nice. That's a
Thank
really
you.
nice thing. Um
Thank you. Yeah, for liking the theory part.
Well, so this has really been nice. I'm so grateful you're on the show. And I was just curious, what are you excited about, in this next couple of years?
Yeah, so I've been working on a project with Tim Armstrong and Pat Klein to think about now that we have these robust methods for doing event studies, how you can combine these estimates with the classical two-way fixed effects estimates that might be more precise. So I guess
Yeah,
this is more about how you would communicate the results. Um, because I do get questions about, oh, I should I put my robust estimate in the appendix or not report it until a referee asks. um,
right.
but from working with Pat and Tim, yeah, we kind of realized there's still value in reporting both because you
Mm,
never know whether your audience um, how much of treatment effects heterogeneity your audience really believes in.
yeah,
Um, so yeah, so we're this project is we're trying to develop ways for readers of these papers or researchers themselves to be able to combine robust and non-robust estimates in a more informative way.
yeah.
So yeah, I'm very excited to understand how we can communicate better these estimates.
Mm.
And I'm also working on weak identification still with my advisor, Anami Kushiba. And I started working more on policy learning after grad school
Ah,
as like a continuation of my job market paper. So
ah,
yeah, these are the things I'm very excited to
oh,
keep working on.
you're so smart. You're so hardworking and make such cool things. And I'm really, it's fun. It's fun when your papers come out. It's fun to read them. So,
Oh,
uh,
thank you so much.
yeah. Well, I'm gonna let you go. I really appreciate you being on the show and really appreciate you being out there.
Thank you. And yeah,
Okay.
great catching up with you too.
Yeah. Okay. Good. All right. Well, you have a good day.
She hated when I called.